Okay, your next problem here says what number is 40% of 200? Okay, this one is not necessarily a word problem like that you have a scenario with the other types of problems, okay? But it's asking you what number is 40% of 200? Okay, and this one's a little bit different. When you're writing your proportion, there's a little bit different way to go about it. But we want to say, what number is 40% of 200? That means 200 is the total amount because 40% is a part. So what number is that is equivalent to that part of 200, basically, right? So what number is equivalent to that part of 200? So 200 would be 100% of the whole amount, okay? That's the whole number. So if I look at 50% of 200 is 100. 25% is half of that, so it'd be 50. So if I'm wanting to see 40%, it's going to be somewhere here between 50 and 100, okay? Somewhere between 50 and 100. Now, your percent proportion, there's another way to do it. There's one that's called is over of equals percent over 100. When you don't have the other word story in there, this one works. So is over of equals percent over 100. Okay, what number is, that means we're looking for the one that's is. So we're looking for the part. Okay, so of is the 200, that's your total amount, equals 40% over 100. Okay, that's a little bit tricky there. Okay, but really what you're looking at is 40% is the part, and you're wanting to know what number is equivalent to that part of 200. So that tells you you're looking for the part. Okay, well, how do I get from 100 to 200? We multiply by 2, so then 40 times 2, move right over here a little bit. 40 times 2 would be 80. So 80 is 40% of 200. Okay, if it's just a number, tell me what that number means. Okay, is this pen clear enough to read? I'm going to get a darker one just in case. All right, next one says there are 240 students in the 6th grade. 60% of these students will be in athletics next year. Now, remember, 60% would be a little bit over 1/2. So what number, we're looking for the part. What part of the 6th graders will be in athletics? Okay, so 100% of my students would be 240 students. That means that's all of them. Okay, 240, sorry. 60% will be in athletics. So let's write our benchmarks here. 50% would be half of 240. So half of 240 is 120. Okay, we're going to be looking for 60%. It will be along here somewhere, right? So my number would be a little bit bigger than 120. Okay, not a whole lot bigger, but a decent amount. Okay, now if I wanted to know 10% more, 10% of 240 is 1/10, so it's 24 more than that. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. But we'll find the exact amount with our proportion over here, okay? Now, the part in this problem is actually what we're solving. We want to know what part of the students will be in athletics. So we don't know the part. The whole is the whole amount of students in 6th grade. So the whole is 240. Looking for 60% over 100 here. Okay, that is my percent proportion. The whole amount is 240 and then my percent is 60. Okay, so right here I could cross multiply and divide. Okay, so 240 times 60, 0. Okay, now I'm in the tens place here. 6 times 0. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, 14,400. But remember, cross, multiply, and divide. I'm going to write that down here. Cross, multiply, that was a little messy there. And divide. Okay, so it means I have to divide by the number that's left over, which is 100. Remember, 14,400 divided by 100. We're going to take off those 2 decimals, right? Divided by 100, that's going to give me 144. So my answer here is 144 students will be in athletics. We can just leave it at 144 students. Okay, last one here, okay? Hopefully this isn't taking you too long. Mr. LaMesa coaches the golf team. The team has 18 6th grade members, okay, 12 7th grade members, and 10 8th grade members. What percent of the golf team are 7th graders? Oh, so we want to know what percent, okay? So that means we already know the whole and the part, okay? Well, we know what part of them are 7th graders here, right? There are 12 7th graders. That's an important part here. But what is the whole amount of the team? How many people are on the team all together? It doesn't tell us, right? So we're going to go over here to our work. We're going to add up our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So 18 plus 12 is 30, plus those 10 8th graders. That gives me 40 total members on the team. Okay, so if we go right over here, my whole amount, 100% of my team, is 40 students. Okay, so let's use our benchmarks here for just a minute. 50%, which is half of the team, is going to be 20, because 20 is half of 40. Okay, let's look at 25%, because that's our other benchmark. That's half of 50%. So what's half of 20? 10. And if I wanted to add 75%, I could do that. That'd be 10, 20, 30, and 40. Okay, now I have 12 7th grade members on this golf team. Well, if I look at this is the students. At the top is percent, so I don't want to get mixed up and put it 12%. Okay, 12 students would be right here past the 10 students. 12 students. I'm going to fill that in to right here. That means it's a little bit bigger than 25%. Okay? 12 students is a little bit bigger than 25%. So my answer would be a little bit more than 25%. Okay? Now, my percent proportion. Zoom out just a bit for that. My percent proportion here. Okay? The part is what I don't know, right? Oh, I do know. I don't know the percent, okay? So the part of my team here that are 7th graders would be 12. 12 is the part. The whole team is made up of 40 people. I mean, I want to know the percent because it says what percent over 100. Okay? That one doesn't look so bad. Those numbers are pretty small and manageable here. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. Remember, to cross multiply means you multiply the two that are diagonal from each other. So 12 times 100, that would be 1,200. But I'm going to divide by the one that's left over. So 1,200 divided by 40. I want to show you a little shortcut here. Both of these have a 0 on the end. I'm going to mark those out here. Now what I really have is 120 divided by 4. And you get the same answer. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. 4 times 3 is 12. I get a 0 and I bring down one more 0. I'm not done. 4 goes into 0 times. So as long as I have a number above each of these digits. So my answer is 30 7th graders. Okay? 30 7th graders. Okay, remember, come to class with whatever questions that you have on this assignment. And anything that you don't understand, I know we don't expect you to have it down the very first day. But we're going to have to keep practicing and really keep pushing you and show me any questions that you have or anything that you don't understand. Now, what I don't want to hear is just, I don't get it. I need to know what it is that you're having trouble with, and we can help you through it, okay?